if you don't happen to know who I am, my name is Reece and I'm the owner and founder of Define. And here at Define, we believe in giving you the high quality tools and education you need to define beauty for you. And in these videos specifically, anytime you see something from Define Education, that is going to teach you how to use our line, because it's so important to know what you're using and how to use it. Because yes, you can have makeup products, but if you don't know how to use them and get the best, performance out of them, it kind of makes it feel like your purchase wasn't worth it. And that's where I wanted to make sure when I started Define that you had the education you needed to know how to use our entire line. And today we are going to be using our brand new Rosé palette in more of a neutral look. So let's go ahead and get right on into it. All right, we are ready to go. So the very first thing you're going to need to do is prime your eyelids with some eyeshadow primer. So I have mine here and then my dual camouflage stamper brush. And essentially first you are going to take your dual camouflage stamper brush, you'll underline underneath your eyebrow and then fill the entire rest of your eyelid with eyeshadow primer. Use the dual camouflage stamper brush to apply. I went ahead and did this before I started filming because I am so much better doing it in my mirror versus trying to look at the camera. So eyeshadow primer first, all over your eyelid, and then you are ready to go. After that, you'll want to grab your fluffy crease brush. I'm taking a towel to swipe it real quick because I cannot remember what color I used on it last. And then you'll want your Essentials palette from Define. We have the white shade here, and that's what we're going to be using first. So go ahead and load that up on your fluffy crease brush, tap off any excess, and then we are going to pat press that from the start of our brow all the way up towards the arch. So pat press, and same thing here. We're going to come down close to the inner corner of our eye, but we are not quite going to hit it. And then over here, same idea, pat press, all the way up into the arch of your brow. Bring it down close to the inner corner of the eye, not quite hitting it though. And that is it. So now you can go ahead and close your Essentials palette. We will not need that for the rest of the tutorial. And I'm going to swipe my fluffy crease brush real quick. And we are going to move into using the Rosé palette. So we're actually only going to use 3 colors today, which makes it super easy, very simple. First one we're going to grab is the white with our fluffy crease brush. So load that up, tap off any excess, and you are going to pat press this from the arch of your brow all the way down the tail. So pat press, and in the inner corner of your eye. Just making sure I have everything covered on this eye. Copy paste on this side. Pat press. Making sure you are not using a sliding motion, because if you slide, it's not going to get that eyeshadow to really stick to your primer. All right, now I have that done and ready to move on to the next step. So take your fluffy crease, swipe it on its out, and we're going to grab the second color in on the palette, that kind of peach pink. Again, tap off any excess, and I'm going to feel for my brow bone. I'm going to go slightly on top of / slightly underneath it, because essentially what this is doing is creating a contour and a really nice transition from the white into whatever shade we will use on our actual eyelid space itself. So first 50% of the way you're pat pressing, the remainder of the 50% going down towards the inner corner of your eye. You're going to very lightly blend because I want the most pigment here and I want it to kind of become softer and more diffuse towards the end when it gets closer to the inner corner of my eye. Same thing on the other side. Pat press. I'm gonna grab a little bit more. And then I'm moving it down towards the inner corner of my eye with very light pressure, very gentle motions. And when I'm blending, it's coming from my fingers, it's not coming from my wrists, and it's not coming from my elbow when I'm blending. I'm going to swipe this really quick on a towel and use this now to blend that color. So very light pressure. I cannot stress that enough. Going back and forth on the color you just placed to blend it even more if you feel like there are any sort of harsh lines. So making sure we've got that set and we're ready to move on to our next step. Now, because my eyeshadow primer has been on for a while, I'm going to take my finger and just warm it up on my actual eyelid space, see if there's anywhere I need to reapply. But you want to make sure there's no creasing. And I don't see any, so I should be good to go. However, I do feel like there's a little bit that I'm missing right in the inner corner here. So really quickly, I'm going to reapply that. And this is something you guys can absolutely do. If you're taking your time doing your eyeshadow, you're just learning and you're like, I feel that it's moving, should I apply more? Apply more. So I'm going to just gently kind of fill in the area where I feel like it lost some of the primer. I'm not going near that transition color we just placed, but I'm filling it in as needed. Perfect. Now I'm going to take my finger and pat press to blend so there's no creasing. Perfect. That looks so much better. And there's a little bit on the other side as well, kind of close to my lash line. I'm going to pat press with my finger to smooth that out. And now we are ready for the next step. So taking your fluffy crease brush and Rosé palette, we are going to grab the shimmery light pink. So go ahead and load that up on your fluffy crease brush. I think this is such a pretty color. Oh, I just love how light it looks. And this you're going to apply to your entire eyelid space. So really pat press that into your primer so that it sticks. Because shimmers, you want to make sure that they stay and that you don't get a ton of shadow fall. So pat press all over your lid space. And you can see just how light pink that is. It does look a little bit more pink than this eye. Maybe you can't see that as well on the camera, but when you do this, you know, on yourself, when you're doing your makeup in the bathroom, you will definitely notice there's a little bit of pigment to it. I think it's just so soft. I had mentioned this in the last tutorial, but this color just reminds me of like a Disney princess or almost a ballet slipper. I think it's just very light pink, very soft, very dainty, and I love it. Now, I'm going to take my fluffy crease brush and swipe that on a towel. I'm going to blend the outside here really quick. Blend it a little bit where it meets the transition color. And one thing I like to do is add a little bit more intensity on the outer corner of my eye. So what you can do, I'm going to take my fluffy crease brush. I'm going to load that transition color we used. So this peach pink. This is optional, by the way. And I'm actually going to pat press this on the outside, just that outer, almost like 30% of the eyelid where I place that eyeshadow, that soft pink. And that's just gonna add a little bit more intensity to it. I know this is a very neutral look, but that's just something I like to do to add more of a pop of color on the outside. I absolutely love a good neutral look. It makes it so easy to wear. I can go to the grocery store, I can go to the gym, I can do, you know, all my normal in-town things and not feel like, okay, I might be a little overdone. But that is the neutral look for today. I think it's so easy to do. It is something you can wear pretty much anywhere, but I am going to do my mascara. So I will be using, let me grab it here so I can show you guys. We just got this in at Define, so it is Glow Skin Beauty, if you haven't heard of them before. They have a lash thickener and conditioner, as well as mascara. I am using the volumizing formula today. We also have the lash lengthening available at Define, but I will be using these. So I'm gonna do my mascara real quick and I will be right back. And here is the final look for today. It's something very neutral, very light, very easy to wear. I could even see, you know, a girl who's 14, 15 wearing this because again, it is just so light and so easy to wear. So thank you for joining me for today's tutorial. If you want to follow us to learn more tips, tricks, and techniques on how to do your makeup, I will link everything for our YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, so you can follow us there. And if there is anything inside of today's tutorial that I mentioned or used that you would like to purchase, you can get that at definebeautyforyou.com, and I will also have that linked in this slide after this. But like I said, thank you for joining me, and I will see you all in the next tutorial.